Learn how to machine knit this easy Passap Singlebed bind-off. While there are lots of ways to bind off, this one quickly became my go-to. Unlike knitting a few rows of waste yarn and dropping the knitting from the machine, this closed bind-off ensures your tension swatches will not come undone while washing and that your stitch pattern samples are preserved. It's fast and reliable, which makes it an ideal choice. It can be used to create a neat base for adding trims, and for certain projects, it might be used alone and become the finished edge. Our starting point is a stockinette stitch swatch on the machine. Make sure the racking handle is down. This prevents the back bed needles from colliding with the front bed needles. Then, on the back bed, pull up a needle to work position for every needle on the front bed. The front lock is still set to N and the stitch size is 5.5. Set the back lock to N and the stitch size 2 to 3 full numbers less than the stitch size on the front bed. And I'm going to knit one row across. So what happened was, by knitting both the front and back beds, the stitches on the front bed are elongated. Now, let's look and zoom in just a little bit more. Because I want you to see what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to drop my bed down, and you can see my stitches. And all I'm going to do is take my latch tool and push all these stitches back. Now, if you have a decker tool, you can insert them between the stitches and just kind of help it along. See how it goes much faster? But there. Now I'm going to take my latch tool. I want to get my hand up under this so that I can pull it down a little bit. And since the stitches are pushed to the back, all I'm going to do is pick up the front stitches, and on the first one, I just picked up it in the hook. When I move my latch over to the next one, I'm going to insert it in that front loop, but this time I'm going to make sure that the first one went behind the latch. Now, I had to do that on an angle just to show you what I was talking about, but what you want to do is you want to go kind of almost straight in, maybe at an 85-degree angle, straight down into the next stitch. And when you hear that pop, you can pick up that stitch. You can just go right across. One of the good things about this bind-off is that if you drop your loop, all the stitches are still being held on the machine. So it's just a matter of chasing it down and picking that loop back up. You won't lose any stitches. And that is a very, very easy bind-off. That's the Crochet Bind-off. Now that one I picked up, and I'm just going to make sure I don't drop it at that point, because now it's off the hook. And it goes relatively quickly, and it's a great one when you're doing swatches because it's a closed cast off or bind off. Now, as I'm getting closer to the end, I'm going to have to pull these needles down so I can see my stitches. Pull this one down a little bit more so I open that up a little bit, and there I go. Now, when I get to the end, I'm just going to pull that loop through and cut my yarn. Now I'm going to take this yarn down and re-anchor it and release the first one, which is the first edge of that cast on needles. And there you go. Now, I often struggled with releasing my knitting afterwards, especially when I opened up my beds. I kept fussing because you can't push them all the way up. I mean, you could, and they always get tangled. So here's a quick release. Push your bed back up. Take your ruler, push it all the way up, so all the needles on the front bed are up through there, and then just bring them down. They're all off. Now, you do that on the back bed. And push them all back down. Now, I did catch a couple, but not half as many as I used to. You just release those individually. And here's our little swatch. Look how neat that bind-off is. Thank you for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments if you would like to see more videos like this or you have a special question or request. And lastly, please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy machine knitting!